Hey everyone, it's Moolah pleased today with my video on the Megamall. So, let's get started. In terms of your drop, you generally want to land on like an AR or something so that if other people try to contest, then you can shoot them out before they land, presuming you have the better drop of course. Otherwise, I'll go into what you can do after that. One thing I do recommend is staying here for a couple extra seconds because players can use a slipstream and then come whenever, a little bit later than you would normally expect. So for the first loot path, you can come in here, hit this chest, break down through this, go into this sewing shop, hit another chest here, hit a floor spawn there, and then there's multiple floor spawns. This is not one, but following that you can either go down some more into the bathroom, or you can make your way over to this area where there's a couple more loot spawns and whatnot. Overall, I think this is a really good route that's pretty safe, so in Megamall, I believe it's extremely important to play together just because of how many close quarters there are, so if you're not careful, a duo can just like come out from a corner and pump you or something, you know? So what you should do for the second duo, if one lands here, is the other can land here. There's a couple floor loot spawns here. Come down and then either go left and pick up this whole left wing or go right. This doesn't have as good of loot as the initial player here. However, let's say that the player up there doesn't take the bathroom and goes into the shop or whatever, then this player can thus take the bathroom or vice versa depending on how you guys want to split it. One other thing about the mall is that most of the materials are in this back section with pallets and then the chain fences as well as trucks and whatnot. So you don't necessarily want to land here in the beginning because looting through here, if you go down this way, isn't very effective since there's not many floor loot spawns and whatnot that you can pick up quickly. So what I would suggest instead is coming through this door, and then you can get a floor loot spawn here, break down here for the chest, check that chest, and then there's also one there, and then one up there. So you have a pretty decent amount of potential loot you can get. Otherwise, you could make this movement towards these shops and then try to get whatever loot you can find over here. A split that complements the last path would be to come in through this top hole into the pizza parlor, and from there you can hit this chest spawn, and then each of these give about 8 to 10 mats, so then it's not bad. And then instead of going down and continuing, you can go over here and get a couple more loot spawns, and then try to regroup with your duo. In terms of how the fights play out, there's obviously a lot of cover, since there's multiple shops with a lot of different sorts of textures and whatnot. So you want to just make sure that you can really clearly identify audio cues, whether they're above and below you, and try to track your opponent down without just running around through the open, since otherwise another player who's hiding in a shop could try to take a couple free tags on you. Another easy way of taking fights is to try to take the high ground out the top of the roof, and then from there you can just work your way down, and you'll generally just be pressuring people who are inside the shop, so just take it slow and then try to abuse whatever pinches you can set up. In terms of the residential side, I'd recommend trying to land at Doghouse, or at least having one of your duos land here. The other could land over here, or ideally not at this house since it's kind of weak over there, but it just depends on what the enemy teams do. So from there, you can come in through here and get a few floor loot spawns from the upper floor, and then also this chest, and then there's also a chest in the ceiling. I wouldn't recommend trying to land through the balcony though, this way, if you know that this house is going to be contested, since if a player also comes through here and then takes control of the basement as well as the floor loot spawns through here, then they're going to have a lot more loot than you, and you kind of lose the purpose for landing in Doghouse in the first place. Now for the pros of Megamall, there's obviously pretty good mats in terms of the efficiency as well as the total you can get. Also, for your brick, you can get it from the railings over here or the railings on this level. It doesn't work on this upper level right here that I'm following, but I don't know why. Either way, you also get metal and brick from just moving up and down through the floors when you're trying to get your loots. So just keep that in mind. Furthermore, the fact that there's 35 chests between the two sides makes it extremely loot dense, so if you're going to win all of Megamall, then you're pretty much going to come out with mobility, full shields, and pretty decent loadout no matter what generally. And then also just the fact that there's so many floor loot spawns and ammo boxes here and there, you're going to get pretty much as much ammo as you'll need for the rest of the game. And the fact that there's slipstreams means you can get pretty much a free rotation anywhere you need to go. As for the cons of this place, there's no vehicles, no campfires, and no vending machines. But generally those can be pretty much negated with the other pros that are found here. Now as for the streamers I'd recommend watching, one's from Oceania, Twiz, one is from EU, Flexi, and one is from NA West, Pika. All of these players have qualified, so I feel that they're pretty informed on their drop spots and you can learn a lot from them. For the playstyles, generally it'll be shotguns if you're going to be in this Megamall area, or build fights if you're going to fight on top of it, or build fights generally just break out all over residential areas. Overall, I'd rate this spot a 9 out of 10, just because there's no real downsides other than the fact that there's no vehicle spawns in my opinion, so it makes it pretty solid. That's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it, then leave a like and subscribe. Thanks.